You ever see a lion limber up before it takes down a gazelle?
Shh. Spoilers ahead.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Cinemattraction. I'm Heat Guy Jay, and along with me as always is my partner in crime. He'll never do time. Cold to the bone.
Norwich.
I wish you'd just present your name. I wish you'd be professional for...
It's relevant to this episode.
For 5 seconds.
The characters are all called where they're from. So what have you been watching?
I haven't watched hardly anything this week because, as you know, I got a new dog.
You got a new dog and he's bedding in.
And he's bedding in, so I haven't had a lot of time to really watch. I've watched some TV. I watched a TV show, a new TV show called From, which is executively produced by the Russo brothers.
Oh.
And I don't know if it would be up your street, but it's kind of like this.
What's about?
Okay, well, look, there's this town, and people come into this town, and they can't get out of it. They just drive round and round it, right? And then the people that live there kind of come out and they say, look, we've got to tell you the truth about this town. You can't get out, and you cannot stay out at night. You've got to, like...
Why?
Right, because these people come, and they're dressed in all kinds of ways. Like, there's a guy dressed like a 50s milkman, and then there's somebody dressed as something else. They're all just like normal, but they're like these weird... Like, if you can't let them in, they will stand at the window and they talk to you, and what they do is they're kind of like vampire, like these. Well, no, they eat people. They sort of tear them apart.
Ooh, great!
They tear them. I mean, you might like it because it's quite gross.
It's quite.
I've been watching it on Now TV, so I think it's on Sky Sci-Fi at the moment.
Don't have it.
I've been watching it on Now TV.
Don't have it. Okay.
And it's in some ways it's quite a silly program, but then in another way it's quite interesting because like there's this bit where like one of the characters, he knows these creatures are out there, right? Because they've got a whole community going on, and there's this girl that stands there and she's like, oh, please let me in, please, I love you, and all this sort of thing. He lets him in, she gives him a nice dog, and then she eats him.
That's what you could dream of.
He has a lovely little kiss and a cuddle, and she's like a female spider.
Mantis.
Yes,
right?
Yeah, like a mantis, yeah, or a spider. Yeah.
Sounds good.
So, but I'm currently watching that at the moment. So, and that's about it, really. I haven't, apart from these films that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I enjoy seeing these films again. I've been watching films related to the Northern Ireland Troubles.
Yes, I have noticed that. And I haven't really commented because I don't really have anything to give in the arena of the Northern Ireland thing.
The troubles of Northern Ireland.
I don't really have a voice about it, to be honest.
Bit of a hibernophile, so I've been kind of interested to see.
This is why you're always hanging out with me. You need
Irish.
to get that bit of that Irish flavour.
I do. I need it in me, so to speak. So I've seen Steve McQueen's Hunger, Paul Greengrass's Bloody Sunday, and 71, starring Jack O'Connell.
Yes.
And Prometheus.
Did you rewatch Prometheus?
No, it's got Prometheus in it.
Oh, it's got Prometheus in it. Oh, yes, of course it has. It's got Fassbender.
Yeah. Well, it's got Sean Harris in it, is what I'm saying.
Oh, it's got him in as well.
Right, okay.
Has it really?
Yeah. So, somewhat hard and harrowing films, but very, very powerful.
Right.
And balanced enough to show various perspectives,
right,
which I like.
Yeah.
I'd recommend absolutely all of the three that I've just mentioned there. I watched Veronica Guerin this morning, and I didn't really care for it. But it's not really about the Northern Irish Troubles. It's about like a reporter looking into the heroin problem in...
Because that's a Kate Blanchett one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think I've never watched it because I've never been interested.
I was under the impression it was to do with the Troubles. It was really not, but it's a really interesting story about a problem in the Republic of Ireland. We're here to talk comedy, though.
We are.
Welcome to episode 34. We were having a conversation before we started this about double bills and things
yes,
like that.
I was mentioning to you about Indiana Jones and how as probably like a young teen, maybe 12, 13, I went to see the Indiana Jones trilogy because there was only 3 films at the time.
Very envious of that.
Like a matinee sort of triple bill.
That's a long old man, eh?
It was. It was hard on the old derriere.
Oh. So are there any other properties that you would want to watch, like a double bill or the full series of?
I mean, I would go back to the cinema for Star Wars. I will always go back to the cinema for Star Wars.
All of those movies?
Well, I can't watch them all together.
All 9 of them?
No, I can't watch them all together.
That's what we're talking about here.
Okay, maybe I could go for a triple bill. I could go
So
for
you
a
watch
triple
the-
bill of a trilogy.
Of one of the trilogies.
Yeah,
then
it doesn't
watch
matter
another
to me which
trilogy,
one.
Then watch the
Yeah.
other trilogy. You could watch them all but with breaks, I suppose.
I could watch
like break between the first trilogy
and
day
the,
break and so on.
It wouldn't matter which trilogy to me because I love them all, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
Double bills. I would love to do a Gremlins. Oh yeah. Can you imagine how you'd just be so elated when you came out?
Yeah.
Because obviously, like the second film is so goofy and stupid.
Would you do Lord of the Rings?
See, part of me says I would love to.
But like the 8 hour long extended.
But another part of me says you'll
die.
Yeah, you'll die. Your mind's going to
die
start
in your
wandering at some point.
Indeed.
You're
I'd
not
like to
going
see the Evil Dead series, I think.
Really?
Yeah, they're a right good time.
What about Die Hard and Die Hard 2?
Why not Die Hard 1, 2 and 3?
Oh, all right.
Because I do like that third one.
I do like the third one, actually. I like the fact that the third one comes back to the first one. That's what I like. The tie-in.
Yes.
Yeah. So it sort of ties it up. It's not just some random terrorist.
Yeah, they bought a script, didn't they, called Simon Says. The studio bought a script
That's
called
why his name was
Says.
Simon, was
They
it?
bought a script called Simon Says and turned it into a Die Hard movie.
Right. Because there's a film that Bruce Willis did called Tears of the Sun.
Right? So I don't know if I've seen that.
I had a feeling at some point that was going to be a Die Hard film,
Okay.
but they didn't make it into a Die Hard film.
Oh.
Or something like that. I don't know.
You ever see Surrogates?
Yes, I've seen it twice.
That's fun, isn't it?
I love Bruce Willis in that. He's so glossy and waxy and delicious.
That guy in the hairpiece? That's Bruce Willis. Zombieland is a horror comedy from Ruben Fleischer. Are you familiar with Ruben Fleischer's work?
If you tell me some of the things he's done.
He's done some interesting stuff. He's done Venom,
Right, yes, I've seen that.
Uncharted.
These are two films I didn't like. Yeah.
Okay, and Gangster Squad. You ever see that?
I liked Gangster Squad. No, I liked Gangster Squad.
Okay, and obviously these movies as well.
Because I thought Gangster Squad was a bit of a sort of film that was sort of made like a sort of gangster film made for people of this century.
Yeah.
Doing it more like an action film rather than...
More, yeah, kind of. Yeah, like a throwbacky type of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did enjoy that, yeah.
You ever see Public Enemies with Johnny Depp in it?
I've seen bits of it. I couldn't really stomach a lot of it because I thought it was kind of boring. And I don't want to get onto Michael Mann. Because if I get onto Michael Mann, you ain't ever going to hear me. I ain't ever going to shut up about moaning about Michael Mann.
I love Michael Mann. What do you dislike about it? Just briefly.
His films are boring. They're boring as hell. Get Al Pacino, get Robert De Niro, two of my favourite
One of the
actors.
greatest action movies ever made in Heat.
It's not a great action movie. Do you know something?
Yes, it
I'm going
is.
to tell you this right now. I've had sleeping problems for years, right?
Right.
One of my sleeping aids used to be putting Heat on. Because within an hour of Heat, I would be asleep.
Have you ever seen Manhunter?
Yes, I have, years
do
ago.
you think
And
it
it's
was
got
alright?
Hannibal Lecter in, isn't it? It's one of the...
It's really good.
I thought it was all right.
Okay. Okay. You ever see Black Hat?
Yes, awful.
Fine.
Boring.
Yeah, it's not great.
Really boring. Criterion are bringing out.
Arrow.
Is it Arrow? Oh, Arrow are bringing it out, yeah. I was really disappointed. I think I went in and I ranted. I was like, hang on a minute. Why are Arrow bringing this out? And I still haven't got Speed Racer on 4K.
I spent a lot of money with Arrow yesterday.
Did you? Ooh.
They just did their September reveals.
Okay.
And I pre-ordered the Blood and Black Lace 4K, which is Mario Bava. Okay, fine.
I know who Mario Bava is because we met. Yes, and he
met
told us that
Lamberto.
story. He told us that story about
The
Gerard
TV
Depardieu.
Oh, he did.
And his producer died, and he couldn't get the film released.
Indeed.
See,
Very
I know.
Talked at length about a TV show that we hadn't seen.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yeah.
And I also pre-ordered. They're putting out a 4K set of all of the Psycho movies. So Psycho 1, Psycho 2, Psycho 3, Psycho 4.
All right.
I believe there's a third Zombieland film in the works.
Is there? I'm
quite
pleased.
excited.
I'm pleased about that. I am pleased because I was just thinking this when I finished the second one. I was thinking, I would like to see a last part, maybe just a.
Yeah, I like how they.
I mean, I know how they finished it was good.
In a pink Cadillac.
So yeah,
I love it.
So
we'll see. I'll be interested to see how.
They've got to bring more to the table, though.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
A quick synopsis, if you will.
Yes, let's do that.
Mad cow disease mutates, turning humans into cannibalistic zombies. Survivors are encouraged to use their city of origin as their monikers, Norwich. Enter Columbus, who chooses to travel from Austin, Texas to Columbus, Ohio in order to rescue his folks. Columbus encounters Tallahassee, who agrees to help him get to Ohio. This odd couple meets con artist sisters Wichita and Little Rock, who wind up deceiving Tallahassee and Columbus, stealing their weapons and vehicles twice before reluctantly allying. Wichita and Little Rock reveal they're travelling to the Pacific Playland theme park in Los Angeles, which is reportedly free of zombies, meeting actor Bill Murray along the way. Wichita and Columbus hook up. The group reach the Pacific Playland, and sure enough, it's zombie-free. That is, until they fire up the lights and the loud rides, drawing hordes of the undead to them. A critical and commercial success, taking $102 million dues from a $24 million do budget. What do you think of Zombieland?
I really like it.
Yeah.
There are some moments in this film that are just laugh out loud funny.
Absolutely.
And even when you're watching it on your own, you'll sit there. I mean, there was bits where I was just sitting there giggling to myself watching it.
Silly.
I mean,
it's witty. I don't know. It's silly and it's witty as well.
What I like about it is the way that Jesse Eisenberg introduces it.
Yes.
So he's the narrator. He brings you into the world,
character.
and I love the rules. You get all the rules.
Yeah.
And I like how the rules come up every so often. So like when they're running,
they repeat rules.
So it has like cardio comes up and
seatbelts.
And you got For Whom the Bell Tolls at the beginning.
Metallica, yeah.
Yeah,
they do a similar thing in the sequel as well.
They do with a much better song, I actually think. If I have a problem with this film, it's probably going to be Emma Stone and the fact she's wearing so much fake tan in this first film that she looks orange. I mean, don't get me wrong.
She's a bit Trumpy.
Yes, her makeup looks nice and everything, but I mean, her arms look the same colour as her face, so she doesn't look, odd like that.
She's had an all-body tan.
So she's had an all-body fake tan.
Does seem a bit.
But her sister
is pasty.
Right. And they're always together.
There's an autumnal setting to this.
Yep.
There's no leaves on the trees. Mm-hmm. So it would be a bit odd that she would have such a lovely tan.
Yeah.
At this time of the year, when she's presumably not been anywhere particularly sunny.
And her sister doesn't have it, and they always keep together.
So were you distracted by this? It's not really
very
criticism
distracted
of the film. It's
no,
more
not criticism. I was distracted by it because I didn't really...
distraction that you couldn't get your head around.
I just didn't really know why she was orange.
Okay.
I just thought it was odd.
You were distracted. Okay. So do you... Okay.
All right,
that's your main gripe of the movie.
My main gripe of the movie is too much fake tan on Emma Stone. Sorry.
So you think the old makeup artist should have sort of dialed it back a bit?
Well, I don't know. I don't know whether Emma Stone at the time was fake tanning,
right.
And she's just like, "This is the way I look at the moment,"
right.
And then she sort of woke up somewhere down the line. She woke up and like.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, I didn't really have that problem with it, and I think she is actually really good in the movie.
Oh, I think she's brilliant in the movie. Oh, I think to be honest,
I think the character's really good as well.
The characters are all really good. I think.
Yeah, really.
Especially good. Woody Harrelson, obviously.
We'll get into that in a moment. So, just general thoughts though. Like, I think it's I presumably this is riding the wave of that sort of early to mid 2000s kind of.
Shaun of the Dead?
There was a load of zombie related properties, movies and TV shows and things like that.
Right,
so there was like Dawn of the Dead remake, there was the Resident Evil, so there was 28 Days and Weeks Later, there was obviously Shaun of the Dead, as you just said. Call of Duty zombie levels were quite popular, The Land of the Dead and Walking Dead and that stuff. I presume it was kind of riding those coattails, but it also...
Oh yeah, because Land of the Dead came out in about 2005, wasn't it? I think 2004 maybe.
2003, 2004.
Oh, was it? Okay, yeah. So it was somewhere, and this was made in 2009, wasn't it?
It was 2009.
Right.
Yeah. I think there was just a flow of zombie properties and things like that.
Except this one, they were trying to do like comedy with it, like Shaun of the Dead.
Like a Shaun of the Dead. Yeah. But I think I think it's really fresh.
I do. I think it's really good, and I like the fact that we really get to know the characters as well, and also they're not just funny bumbling characters. No. They're all really quite damaged characters, and there's heartbreak.
Yes.
Disappointment.
That's a really good point.
Jesse Eisenberg's character, what's he called, Columbus.
Yeah.
He's had to now venture out into the world when he never has.
Yeah, I'd say this is a story of family and unlikely friendship. Each character has lost... I was going to say lost something. They've lost everything, really. They were each cynical outcasts before the virus.
Well, Woody was a redneck.
I would say that mindset probably helped them become survivors respectively, if that makes sense. Because they're all sort of outcasts. Yeah. They're all kind of living outside of the realm.
Well, yeah, because Woody's like the sort of back hills redneck type.
Right.
Is he, I suppose?
Yeah, you could say that and then some.
Jesse Eisenberg's character,
Okay,
you know...
let's talk about the cast of characters.
Okay,
then. So,
you've got Columbus, who is a recluse.
Jesse Eisenberg is Columbus.
Yeah.
He's the central character in the
He's a
narrator.
recluse.
He's nerdy and aloof.
Yes.
And he has IBS.
Yes.
And he lives by a set of rules.
He does. And he's a recluse.
And he's
this
recluse, yeah.
Yeah, and this
he's
sort of
playing Warcraft or something.
thing brings him... It sort of comes to his door, doesn't it? It's like one of those things that just,
Because he was just going to sit there and just eat pizza. And
Yeah. And I like the little
video
throwback
games.
to when he mentions that you know, the neighbour, he says, from whatever the number was.
406?
He brings it up again in the second film.
He does.
Doesn't he? I thought that was a nice little throwback there.
So it's Amber Heard.
Is that Amber Heard?
That was Amber Heard. His 406, Columbus's neighbour. Do you think that Johnny Depp infected her? Woody Harrelson is Tallahassee. He's a redneck, manly man-child.
Yes, he acts like he really just doesn't give a damn about anything.
He does not, though. But he does.
But he does.
He
we
really
find out,
does.
don't we? Yeah,
He kind of lives... He doesn't have like a list of rules, but he does have like an inner code of conduct, I would say.
I think when he meets these characters, it gives him something more to live for.
Sure, yeah, for sure. Well,
because he's got a family.
Certainly in the sequel, where you meet up with Nevada, but he does have that kind of nihilistic thing. But he does have that. He does live by his own set of principles, his own set of rules, which I think is quite a nice little tie into Columbus. You've already slated Emma Stone.
I have not slated her. Look, she was great, but she was overly tan. That's all.
Right. Well, her witches
and it was a fake tan. You could see it was fake tan.
Well, I couldn't separate. I think juggling that mother-sisterly role aspect to Little Rock.
Yes, and also she's
trying to deal with the world. She's trying to deal with
her sister's growing up as well
very quickly,
and she's trying to deal with her and trying to keep them safe, trying to be responsible for her.
Yeah. It's a good role.
That's what she lives for.
Yeah, and then she sees something in... There's obviously that apprehension at first, but then she sees something in Columbus.
Yeah. There's something that he has to offer her.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yes.
So even though they're not a likely pair, they offer each other something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a kinship there, and Abby Breslin is Little Rock. Sweet little adolescent on the surface, but. Deadly
killer
deadly
on the inside.
Kid, yeah. We also care.
I actually really liked her in this one. I thought she was good in this one. Not so much in the...
She wasn't really in it in the second one so much, and I don't really like where they went with the character in the second one.
I didn't like where they went, and I thought they just completely sidelined her.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. So the elephant in the room is that we get a prolonged cameo from Bill Murray in this.
We do. But before we talk about that, can we talk about the Twinkie situation?
Certainly.
Right. Twinkies,
Have you ever had a Twinkie?
I have once.
They're not really that big over here. You can get them in like...
I didn't think they were that nice, to be honest.
Well, no, you can get them like foreign food stores and that kind of stuff. They're not a thing in
I think Asda had them for a while. Our big supermarket chains did have an American candy section.
They don't really do that now. There are candy stores in certain places and stuff like that where you can pick these up. I don't like them.
I just think it's a case of on YouTube obviously they do these things where a celebrity will try like snacks from different countries.
Okay.
So like an American will try his own stuff from his country and then like the equivalents. So he'll try Marmite compared to peanut butter, or something.
Yeah, I get you.
And it's a different taste, although we speak the same language and we're very similar, Americans, and we still have our own little...
if you don't like Marmite, you're weird.
Quirks. I know, Marmite's wonderful. I love Marmite.
So Patrick Swayze was originally cast in that Bill Murray cameo
Was he
role.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But obviously had to drop out because of his health battle.
Yeah.
Other casting considerations included Sylvester Stallone.
Right.
The Rock.
Okay.
Mark Hamill.
Right.
And Joe Pesci.
I would have liked to see Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci would have done it, wouldn't he? It was so good. But I'm very happy that Bill Murray did it.
What the hell are you guys doing in my house? What are you doing in my house? Get the F out of here. Get the F out of here right now.
He's living his best sardonic life in this particular universe. And he's playing golf, which is good.
I love that. I love that when he got out of bed and you saw he was wearing the golf shoes. Because the Hurricane loves a good round, doesn't he? He does. I absolutely love that.
I think just saying like the cynical outcasts have kind of worked out a way to survive in this kind of world.
They're dysfunctional, but it works.
There's no more cynical outcast than Bill Murray.
Do you know
Bill
what?
Murray was always going to survive this.
He was. Do you know what I love about Bill Murray? I've said this before. I would watch 2 hours of Bill Murray sitting looking grumpy on a sofa. I would watch 2 hours of that.
Sure.
After seeing, what was it, Broken Flowers.
Broken Flowers.
And him just sort of moping about a bit.
Indeed.
I just like, I'll watch this man in anything.
Indeed.
And
I will.
You know,
I will
obviously,
continue
when
to.
you see that scene, if you're like you and I, and as Tallahassee mentions, Bill Murray is bigger than Tom Cruise, and he's the tippity top. And I would agree. A nice little thing I was going to mention in this film. I don't know why it is I remember the line.
Okay.
But I always remember
There's
the line.
some great lines in this movie.
There is some wonderful lines. I always love the bit where they're searching for the Twinkie in the truck.
Yeah.
And they find snowballs.
Yes.
And Tallahassee says he hates coconut, not the taste, the consistency.
Yeah, sure.
I love that because
brilliant.
I feel exactly the same.
I love coconut. Okay.
I love the taste of coconut,
you
but
don't
I
like
cannot
how
stand desiccated coconut.
Oh, I love it.
Those
Okay.
little flecks.
Yeah,
no,
they get stuck in teeth and you can enjoy them again after. Lovely.
No. Also, at the beginning of the film, I just need to mention this, there's a guy in a tuxedo with a machine gun.
Right.
He's in a white tuxedo.
Yeah.
And he's firing at these zombies with this machine gun. I want to know. You've piqued my interest. I want to know.
You want to know that guy's story?
I want to know that guy's story. Why is
You might
he
get
in
a
that?
spin-off. Who knows?
Is he a wedding singer? Is he a spy like James Bond? What is he? You know, you don't know.
I think I would have liked to have seen the scene involving an exotic dancer club.
That one. I love that.
Because there's a guy running out with a beer. You see
Yeah.
the beer sloshing. There's a guy literally with money in his
And
hand.
And do you
there's
know what I was
young,
thinking when I was
beautiful
watching
young lady
that?
running behind
I was
him.
like, I was still hit it. Well, you know what? Beggars can't be choosers in the zombie apocalypse, can they?
Right.
Do you remember that time I told you that in the Army of the Dead, I thought the queen of, you know, the queen one that was like a showgirl,
Yeah.
I thought she was oddly attractive in a weird way.
I think you might.
I was starting to question my my sexuality.
I have a few questions for you. Again, just to go back, there's some great quotes. There's some great moments in it as well.
I love the zombie kill of the week and that
Zombie
bit coming
kill of
up.
the week. I love the piano. That's my
Yeah.
favourite. I love the climactic battle against the zombie hordes at the theme park as well.
Yeah, that is brilliant.
There's a real sense of peril to it, which I like. I think is kind of perhaps missing from the sequel.
Yes, I think so, because like the first one, it's, you know, you've got the comedy with the what is very terrifying and actually is horror.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to basically make a horror movie into a comedy, which I suppose can be quite difficult because you're dealing with.
I don't know. It's been done so well. You look
Well,
at
I think
the house movies. You look at like Fright Night and things like that. And indeed,
Oh, that
Shaun
is
of the
true,
Dead.
yeah,
There's
that
some
is
really
true,
great
yeah.
horror comedies out there.
I did like Willie Nelson on the radio. Because you know Woody and Willie are best friends, don't you?
Woody and Willie.
They are. Did you know that?
I believe they're friends. Yeah.
No,
I don't
like
know.
they're very
They're
close
bezies?
friends.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
Okay. Don't kill me with my own gun.
Oh, yeah.
The engagement ring scam is ingenious. Mike White is in it twice. You remember the engagement ring?
Yeah, where she's
I
crawling.
want to try that out with you in real life.
I want to see Emma Stone crawling around on her hands and knees. That's what I want to see.
So, there's one scene that fulfills my inner whim.
Right.
You might know where I'm going with this.
Okay.
Because every time I go into a store,
Yeah.
I always want to perform this.
I know exactly the scene you're talking about where they push those ones and they all collapse like dominoes.
I
yes,
have
in the Native American
a
bit.
peculiar fantasy wish fulfillment thing of trashing.
Of just like tearing down a shelf, don't you?
Of pulling down a shelf in a store.
Yeah. Of something.
And they do it, and it's in slow motion, and I was in raptures every time I see it.
Verdict. I give it 3 stars.
Yes.
I can't really say this movie is big, really. I mean,
It's well made.
It's well
fun.
made, but I mean, it's
yeah.
pretty damn good.
Some very good character stuff. Some really funny moments.
Yeah. I think Woody does steal the show, though, Woody Harrelson.
Oh, in every scene.
And do you know what I love about Woody Harrelson? And I'm going to say this now, I'm going to gush about him.
What's that?
You can put him in anything. anything.
He's the star of the show.
No, but you can put him in anything. You can put him in a robbery type film like Money Train.
Yeah.
You can put that's like a buddy comedy robbery, heist film. You can put him in Star Wars. Exactly. You can put him in a zombie apocalypse.
3 Billboards. He can do real dramatic
like
stuff.
Dramatic, tense drama. Yeah,
he can do it all.
He really can.
Brings so much charisma as well.
I think he's a really underrated actor, to be honest.
I
don't think
definitely.
he really.
I adore him.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Zombieland Double Tap is an action horror zombie comedy sequel from Ruben Fleischer, a critical and commercial success, taking $125 million from a $48 million budget. A difficult production. The sequel was intended to drop shortly after the release of the first film, and it wound up suffering delays, which led to the writers creating a Zombieland TV show instead, which was ultimately scrapped. The film was then again picked up in 2016 and filmed in 2019. Or released in 2019. A quick synopsis. It's 6 years later. Our returning characters have gotten a little older and their relationships have evolved. As have the zombies.
I like this.
There we are.
Yeah. With
the introduction of 4 new types. The Homer, which is slow and stupid. The Hawking, somewhat smarter. The Ninja, which is sort of silent and deadly. And the T-800, which require multiple shots to kill. The gang are living in the White House. Columbus awkwardly proposes to Wichita while Little Rock is restless and searching for somebody a little more her age. The ladies take off in the group's vehicle named the Beast, leaving a note. A month later, while searching a shopping mall, they encounter Madison.
Madison.
I love.
She's hilarious.
Who has been surviving inside of a pinkberry yogurt freezer. Columbus and Madison hook up, only for Wichita to randomly return. Wichita informs Columbus and Tallahassee that Little Rock has stolen the Beast and left for Graceland with a pathetic hippie named Berkeley. The gang fear for Little Rock's safety and head to Graceland, losing Madison along the way. I love Madison. Graceland is in ruins, but a nearby Elvis-themed hotel is not, and the gang discover a group of other survivors akin to themselves. Nevada, Albuquerque, and Flagstaff. It all goes horribly south when Albuquerque and Flagstaff become infected, and the gang head onward to pacifist commune Babylon, where Little Rock and Berkeley are staying, a woke wonderland free of weapons. The group reconnect, and Tallahassee disbands, only to return when he sees a massive horde of T-800s running towards Babylon, where all hell breaks loose. What do you think of Double Tap?
I like it, but not as much as the first one.
I think I like this one more.
Right. I don't like the weak story that we're just setting out because, Little Rock has gone.
Has run off.
That's the reason. I don't like the first half an hour, really. Right. I'm not that keen.
I think it's one of the better ones.
No, I thought the first half dragged, well, not half, but like half an hour.
First there.
Where they're in the White House and that. Sort of a little dragged a bit. I mean, I like the Christmas scene with Woody as Santa.
It's really good.
I thought that was a great scene, but I just think... And it's not until they sort of get out on the road and then, Little Rock meets that hippy-dippy bloke in the sandals. I don't care.
The character makes sense, and the character is actually really well performed.
He is.
Obnoxious and rubbish.
He's very obnoxious.
I think it's witty, and I think it's as funny and witty and gory as the first film.
I think it's not until they actually get to Graceland that I start to sort of enjoy it a bit more. Yeah, in the hotel. Then it starts to pick up for me.
Okay.
And then Luke Wilson comes in, and
Luke Wilson's hilarious.
He's hilarious. I love the doppelganger thing.
Indeed.
And I love the fact that Columbus is he's like, oh, he's so good. What's the name of the other one? It's Flagstaff.
Flagstaff, yeah.
And he's like, Flagstaff's so cool. And he's not. He's just nerdy. It's like a Simpson thing, though, isn't it?
I think, it's just having that mirror to see themselves. Essence.
Like that bit where Homer sees Guy Incognito.
Okay. My name is Guy Incognito.
Yeah. Woody, as the king, is Elvis, everything.
Hilarious.
Everything.
There's so much wish fulfillment going on in that performance.
Beautiful. I like the zombie kill of the year. There's some amazing. When he comes away and he says that last that Spanish sort of curse, and then he sort of flicks his hand under his chin.
It's not Spanish, Italian.
Italian. Sorry.
That's my favourite kill in the movie. He drops the leaning tower.
I love that.
3 zombies.
I love it. I was going to say I love it. I almost
Ron.
said, I nearly swore there because I love that scene.
Well, I hope you don't.
I really love that scene. And the way he flips them off at the end, I just love it.
The lad on the harvester where he compacts them.
Yeah, that's hilarious, isn't it? And there's a little face in the bundle.
The shootout on the bus I thought was really well executed as well.
Yeah, that was quite good. I think the
stand
film.
on
I think the film for me picks up from about there.
Okay.
From the sort of fight and the bus bit, and then when they discover the T-1000s.
800s.
Oh, is it T-800s?
T-800s.
Oh, right, the T-800s. Yeah.
Right.
When they discover them.
Yeah.
That's when.
Really good stunt work in this as well, and really good CG because the body count is massive.
It is,
and you got all those like dropping bodies at the very end.
Yeah.
There's like a Woody kind of more or less sacrifices himself, but
and also a lot of the special effects don't look like really fake. Don't look really, don't look like that crappy CG blood.
Well, there's a lot in that in the first one. So
right.
if you look at like what really caught my attention in the first one was, when they're in the supermarket and they're beating that man with the banjo and all the rest of it. And
then there's the clippers.
Yeah, there's a lot of really bad CGI, or really distractingly, obviously CGI splatter in that sequence. It's really good in this one. When he smashes he crushes the first of the T-800's head, and it just goes, oh it's so good.
Well, you're going to love that because you totally love all the gore, don't you?
I really do.
I mean, I like some of the scenes with the gore. I mean, I like the scene in the 4x4.
Yes.
Where they're, where
it's just mowing down.
They're just mowing them down,
so
and they're
good.
going in a circle.
I love all this.
I love the bit with Luke Wilson and Woody where they're sort of talking about Nevada.
Yeah.
And they're talking about like sexually, but like they're using the parking for a metaphor. And I think that's brilliant. I love that bit.
The relationships and dynamics are fleshed out a little bit more in this, and that might be why I liked it a lot more. 6 years of living together under the same roof.
I like the variations of the zombies because that's one thing that I used to watch a zombie series called Z Nation, which was a bit like The Walking Dead, but it didn't take itself too seriously.
Right.
And there was all these different types of zombies in it, like they'd encounter plant type zombies where they'd all plants had all sort of grown into their flesh, and then there was other ones that were like they'd had so much radiation from like where they had been like where a nuclear power station had blown up that they were like almost impossible to kill because they'd taken all like this radiation and stuff, and that's one of the things I liked about the TV show because it was quite rubbish. It was quite a bit of a crappy show, but it was just so over the top and overblown that, like one of the guys in it, he was a prisoner and he was injected with the zombie virus and he was immune. Right. But he goes through all these different stages. He looks a bit like John Hamm, the actor did. And he goes through all these different stages where in one series, he's like blue, like this grey blue all the way through the series.
It's Dr. Manhattan.
It's really bizarre. No, he's not as blue as that, but it's really bizarre. But anyway, back onto this film.
Okay. Anyway, so 6 years of living under the same roof.
Yes.
Would put anybody under,
yes.
I think. And I think there's a grass is always greener aspect to it because Little Rock and Tallahassee wanting to find folks on their wavelength maybe and wanting to find people of their own age. But all they
found were hippies and that one guy who kept saying no group sex.
Well, that's the thing. They do find those people, but they wind up coming back to their group.
The people they know
the grass
and
is
trust.
greener, perhaps. Nevada is an absolute standout character for me.
Oh yeah, I think Rosario Dawson is the MVP of this film. In my opinion,
I love Madison because Madison's hilarious.
Oh, she's. I mean, that scene where she. I mean, we talk about the scene where we think she's turning into a zombie.
Yes, she's just having a reaction to something.
To the trail mix because she didn't know nuts were in the trail mix, did she?
You know why she's still alive? Because zombies eat brains and she ain't got any.
Yeah.
Love that. She's great. But she's not as stupid as she appears. And she's the glorious polar opposite of Wichita. Yeah,
she's not stupid because she stayed alive.
She's a survivor. You can't have gotten this far.
Yeah. I mean, she's shallow and she's...
Yeah, she's got character faults for sure.
Yeah, materialistic, shallow,
sure,
stupid.
Well, she's not stupid though. That's the
thing. No, she's not. she's got smarts,
right?
Where it counts, really, surviving. I suppose.
I love her. I think she's fantastic. I love how Tallahassee leaves her baggage behind.
Oh,
And there's a callback when he blows up the car, and she's like, "My bags were in there," and he's like, "No, they weren't."
No, they weren't. And when she thinks it's been killed, she sticks like is it Gucci or whatever it was, like a designer bag, just sticks out.
Yeah, hilarious. I absolutely adore. One of the reasons why I like this, not only because the characters are a bit more fleshed out, Woody and Jesse are just perfect together in this film.
Yeah.
They're really great together in the previous film, but their rapport is fantastic here.
Yeah.
I think they've worked together on like Now You See Me or something like that. They've done some other bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Their rapport is perfect.
Yeah, so they've got a good. I mean, they probably like each other, so
yeah,
they've got good chemistry together.
Yeah.
And I like that because, for me, if characters don't sell friendship or they don't sell familiarity,
right,
I'm out.
So, sorry, just go back. You were saying that you don't like the first half an hour or so.
Really, yeah.
One of my favourite bits is the Columbia Pictures icon at the very beginning.
Oh, that's amazing, that bit. No, that bit's amazing.
Batting zombies away with it.
No, that bit's amazing. That's very clever how they did that, isn't it?
It's really great.
Yeah, I know that's great, but I just mean I think it's slow, the beginning bit, before it's sort of...
Right. Okay. Why does he get to be president? I think I would have made a damn fine president. Kissed a few hands, shook a few babies.
Oh, I love that when he said that.
Good.
Yeah.
Quite a strange universe, because Woody Harrelson's dad, may have been involved in the Kennedy assassination.
What, in real life?
Charles Harrison was quite a character and worth Googling.
Okay.
He was like an assassin and stuff. He was a right scumbag. He may have been involved in the Kennedy.
Maybe that's why Woody Harrelson made that film on Netflix. What was it? I can't remember what it's called, where he was an assassin in it.
I don't know.
To honour his father and his work.
His murderous. Well, again, it's all up. You'll probably never find out who killed Kennedy.
Yeah, of course.
He's been linked to it.
Right.
Because
Okay.
He was a bit of a nerd-a-well.
Oh. I was going to say, this film, I'm watching it, and I liked it, and I thought it had a really good climax. Mm-hmm. I think that they did really well with all of it. But I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking, but there's no Murricane in this film,
Yes, there is, and he's got quite a cameo at the very end.
I'm going to tell you, this cameo at the end, right? Between seeing Woody Harrelson, between seeing Woody Harrelson in that was it a Cadillac he was in? I think?
Pink Cadillac at the end.
Cadillac, and he says, "Every hair on my body feels like a little wang."
Yeah.
A little wang.
It's so good.
And then it finishes, and and then there's Bill Murray. And we go back to we go to Zealand, day one.
It's a flashback to the start of the outbreak.
Yeah.
And where Bill Murray is doing press interviews for Garfield 3.
Yes!
Which he says he regrets in the first film. He endures stupid questions and gleefully slaughters everybody when they start turning. It's so good.
But the best thing is when she says about why are you, so why Garfield 3? And he says because drugs cost money.
What do you think of the final battle?
What, the final battle with Bill Murray?
No,
and he says, I ain't afraid no ghost.
Indeed, yeah. What do you think of the final battle in the movie?
I thought it was brilliant.
Okay, yeah. That's probably my weakest part of the movie.
Well, you think so? What? Yeah, but how were they going to do it? How were they really realistically going to do it when everybody was on the top level?
Yeah, they're without weapons.
How were they going to get... without weapons, how were they going to get rid of all those zombies?
I get it. It just...
Because their first idea basically backfires when they blow them all up and then there's even more of them. So there was only really one way they could conceivably,
Sure.
Do you think they wrote themselves into a corner with having the tower and... Because the problem is there's no getting out, is there? Once you're that high, where do you go?
It just doesn't feel right to me. You've got all of these T-800s and one Homer.
Yeah.
They're stuck in this Babylon place. There's no weapons, and I would want to kill myself in 5 minutes if I were in that place.
Yeah.
Surrounded by those people.
Hippy dippy.
And
people.
There's a big old tower. And they wind up having... So Nevada comes in and more or less kind of gives them a bit of breathing room because they're sort of stuck in this raised platform with bats and things, crowbars, wherever it is. And then she sort of buys them the ability to sort of... Well, she sort of rolls it, doesn't she? She sort of rolls that van into the thing and they're able to sort of escape and get into the tower and sort of lure them up to the top where they all sort of...
But I don't see there was any real sort of like how they were going to bring Tallahassee back.
Right.
Without this,
yeah, sure.
there was no way
he needs a reason to come back for sure. It just didn't work for me. They use him as a literal dangling carrot, don't they? Which is quite funny.
They literally did.
Yeah, and all of these zombies are just sort of falling down. Some of them are sort of attacking like people behind the shields and all that kind of stuff. Which one of them's using a solar panel, which I thought was quite funny.
They are, yeah.
Not the biggest fan of it, but it's fine.
Well, the Bill Murray bit at the end is everything to me. I'd love to see Bill Murray in his own zombie film.
Right. If there were to be his third Zombieland movie, how would you get Bill Murray back for it?
Because he's actually dead now, isn't he?
He's
in the canon.
Dead. You've shown him before and after, if that makes sense. So how would you bring him back? Would you just have him be some sort of zombie in it?
False ghost.
But you couldn't, because they throw him over the thing, don't they?
False ghost. He'd come back as a spirit.
The sardonic spirit.
Oh, Bill Murray. They could ask him like Woody could say like, Bill, what's it like up there? And he could be like, it's all right. So just okay. You know.
Golf. Yeah, he's playing golf with Jesus or something.
No, I think I don't know. I would. Have you ever seen the film Mum and Dad? Mom and Dad with Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage, yeah, I didn't like it.
Didn't you?
No,
oh.
It wasn't my cup of tea. What are you talking about?
Well, that's like a recommendation for me. It's
really?
sort of a bit like a zombie film.
Yeah,
but the people all go crazy rather than blood hungry. Murderous, yeah.
Instead of cannibalistic and possessed. Yeah, I could see that as being something like that. A good recommendation. Yeah. I don't have any recommendations for this particular film. I just say check them out. They're quite good.
They're fun.
Just on their own little thing.
I really enjoyed watching them, to be honest.
Fun, witty, action-adventure, zombie horror things.
With heart.
With a ton of heart.
And there is,
and relationships and stuff.
Like, Tallahassee, we find out in the first one that he lost his son.
Verdict.
It's
a 3 out of 5 for me. I think they're both 3 out of 5.
I'm giving them both 3, but only because the film does pick up with, it picks up with, you've got Luke Wilson bit in the Graceland bit.
That really goes up a bit.
And there's a lot of bits that really sort of lift the film, where you're sort of thinking, the story's quite weak and, are we treading old ground again? Like before, from before.
Bit too familiar.
Yeah, so I think if they are making a Zombieland 3, I just hope they're stepping it up slightly in some way so that it's not just like, I think they need to try and improve it if they can, or at least make the film as good.
I suspect it'll be something like, there's a, Columbus and Wichita have a baby now or something.
Right.
So there'll be something like that.
Yeah. Couldn't there be like some kind of like zombie terrorist or something?
What?
Do you know, like a terrorist who had been bitten, and in his afterlife is like he's got like a bomb on him or something.
Right. Do you ever see? I forget which one it is. There's you won't have seen it, but there's like one of the Return of the Living Dead movies is set on an aeroplane. Have you ever seen that one with like a rock band?
No, I've seen the first Return of the Living Dead. Didn't like it.
Okay, why not do something like that? I say, put it into a cramped.
Zombies on a plane.
Zombies, yeah. It's awful, but it's hilarious.
Okay.
So join us again. There will be no episode next week. There will be a small video showing our outing at the forthcoming Summer London Film and Comic Con.
Yes, baby, that's where we're going. Yeah. We're going to London to see some famous peeps.
Our recording time conflicts with the outing, basically.
Yes.
So we're going to do that. But there will be another episode, of course.
There will.
Where we will be discussing Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and Dial of Destiny.
Yes, the latest one.
Indeed. We've got some more that I'm going to spring on you. So we'll.
Have we?
Some more episodes.
Well, I've got some. I'm going to spring on you.
Okay. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, because you know who we're meeting next week, don't you?
We are meeting Danny Trejo next week.
Yeah. Well, are we doing a machete double bill?
We are now. He with Jayson.
I am totally saying, yo, what's up, Danny T? And I'm going to either come back really happy with a lovely photo or dead. I'm going to come back in a pine box because Danny Trejo is going to murder me.
Just put you out of your misery.
He's just going to like pick me up by my head and just...
If you say, word up, Danny T.
What's up, Danny
T to his face, I will walk away.
Would you really?
Oh my God, I'd kill you.
No, but I wanted to kind of like
do... over one of those
like one of those handshakes where you sort of do a clasp one.
Right.
It's like,
Predator.
Yeah, like,
know?
yeah, that one. Yeah, the one like Carl Weathers
With
and
your big old muscly arms
yeah.
and his...
What's up, Danny T? How can he resist that?
Oh, what up, hombre? He would Jayson, I would John. You can find us on Letterboxd, Direct Bastard.
And I am Kerja_Relon.
How's that spelled?
KERJA_RELON.
You can find us on social media.
Yes, and Cinemattraction_podcast on Instagram.
I look forward to seeing what you make of
And-
Raiders of the Lost Ark, by the way.
What do you mean? You
I'm just dying to see what you make of it.
Also, if you're liking what we're doing, please give us a like
That's a good point.
and a subscribe,
Yeah,
because
boy.
we could do with all the listeners.
feedback?
Yeah, any feedback. Don't feel don't
Yeah.
feel free to comment, even
Yeah.
if it's good or bad, because we like criticism.
Just
Constructive criticism,
There,
though,
just
because
tell-
I don't really want to have to cry myself to sleep
Tell
because
Jayson
somebody's
he's
been
pretty.
nasty on there writing, "Hey Jay, I don't like your voice. It's not very nice."
Lovely voice.
Oh no!
Put yourself down, man.
Oh, I sound like a 16-year-old boy.
I speak quite quietly and I mumble and I get into a bit of a stammer.
Okay.
I've noticed.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to mention that Master of Puppets
Master of Puppets.
was the most amazing thing, because on my Fortnite I have that emote. And literally, there's an emote where you play the guitar.
Okay.
That song plays.
Okay.
Master of Puppet, like that, yeah. And you can get other people to.
What are you talking about?
You can get other people to join in with you on drums and bass and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So for me, that was a nice little kick.
I have no idea what
You have
you're
no nothing to say, do you? You're like, I don't know what this
don't
is.
play that game, but yeah. Anyway, be excellent to each other.
Yes, and thank you for listening.
Okay, love you.
I love you more.
We got this, man. We got this by the ass.